Hello, everybody. Welcome to Podcast Beyond.
Beyond.
Oh, not as much energy. I said, welcome to Podcast Beyond.
Beyond.
There you go. I'm your host, Games Editorial Manager Jeremy Dunham, and as always, I'm joined by PlayStation Team Editor-in-Chief, Chris Roper.
What up, you?
Editor Greg Miller.
That's right. No Jeff. Finally can.
And Associate Editor Ryan Clements.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Oh, Ohio.
Ohio.
By the way, it's the afternoon, so it'd be konnichiwa.
Oh, you
Konnichiwa.
dummy.
Damn.
God. Go back to your desk.
Talking about the people in the other time zone.
And as Greg alluded, Jeff is not here this week. He is in Japan.
He's literally in Japan.
Literally, yeah.
I think I'm turning Japanese.
Which reminds me of this week's topic, which is TGS. But before we get to that, we have Chris Roper with the Roper Report.
Some of the
Oh, you're
Roper
supposed to
report
say time
actually
for-
bleeds over into TGS stuff, so I'll save that until the very end. It's like pre-TGS deals. Exciting news for PS3 owners who are looking forward to furry creatures that you can play with in some fashion. The Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction demo. The downloadable version will be available on October 4th on the PlayStation Store, so you can just go and download that. But if you feel like pre-ordering the game right now for $5 or whatever it is at EB and GameStop, the disc demo is in stores now, so you can just go ahead and go to EB and pick up a demo for it. It's apparently the first level of the game ends before the first boss fight, which kind of sucks, but anyway, you can try that out, which is pretty cool.
I have tried it out at E3.
Yeah, there
it's
you go.
exactly the same level they had going there.
Yeah.
Is it
So
worth
if you're
doing?
curious what it's like, read our previews.
Exactly. Go read our previews anyway, even if you don't care what it's like.
We're playing them.
Worth playing. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. As everyone knows, I've mentioned a million times, the only thing that I would have added was the return of the first-person controls, which aren't in there, but maybe they've added them since. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of first-person controls, which the game does not have any whatsoever, Loco Roco is coming out this week. I think the only thing that it's absolutely confirmed for this week is the UK, but who knows when it's going to hit the US. It might also come out then. But if you're wily enough to have a UK account on your US PlayStation, then you can pick up Loco Roco. It's an interactive screensaver of some sort, and there's like 3 stages, whatever they are. It sounds kind of crazy, but so we'll report on that when it hits. Heavenly Sword hit stores last week, so very good. That's another one of Sony's big games for the exclusives for the season, whatever it is. So go kill people with a sword. And then, so leading into TGS news, last thing before that is that apparently around the internet there were rumors that Gran Turismo 5 Prologue was going to cost $60 or 60 British pounds or whatever, and then that was the price of the disc, and that the same thing was going to cost that to just download it, and they're completely false.
Yeah, as it turned out, the guy who started the rumor is a British guy who weighs 60 pounds.
Yeah, so that's completely false. I'm
small.
I'm guessing
He's like 12.
I'm guessing the game's going to cost $20 in stores. That's what they've cost before, I believe. So, Anyway, so leading into TGS type stuff announcements, not quite TGS, but at JAMA, Tekken 6 will be playable. So it'll be the first time you'll be able to play the game. I believe it's going to be the arcade version of Tekken 6, and then it's coming to the PS3 sometime in 2008. But you get your first chance at that. And then pre-TGS news. Let's see. First is that Yakuza 3, the U.S. still hasn't seen Yakuza 2 yet, but Yakuza 3 will be PlayStation 3 exclusive, taking place in the year 1605 during the Edo period of Japan. That's
Edo.
Scheduled, whatever it is. I don't live in 1605. That's scheduled for a release in early 08 in Japan. Since we still haven't seen Yakuza 2 in the U.S., who knows if that's coming over here anytime soon, or if it will, etc., etc. Steambot Chronicles, a.k.a. something else in Japan, which I don't remember the name of it, Taibot.
I don't play it in Japan.
Yeah, whatever it is, has been shifted from a PS2 title to a PS3 title, and the trailer for it will be shown at TGS, so there's another RPG. And lastly, a bigger RPG, which just hit the Xbox 360, I guess maybe it's this week? Last week?
Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah,
Actually, no, it ships today, hits stores tomorrow.
Yeah, Eternal Sonata has been reconfirmed to be coming out as a PS3 game.
One of the worst kept secrets in all of video games.
So that game will be shown at TGS, apparently only in trailer form, or in video form of some fashion. So you won't be able to play it, but and that is scheduled for release in 2008 at some point also. But again, these are only Japanese release dates, but you have to assume that it's also going to come to the US that year.
Quite a news-packed day.
Yes, it is.
And that, of course, brings us to TGS itself, which starts on Wednesday, the 20th. Tell us, what do you guys expect? What's going to happen?
Games.
Good.
They will speak in languages I won't understand.
Let's try. Well, what's great about the show is it also leads into our first reader question, which is what can we expect to see at TGS? So I'm glad that we answered that question so thoroughly. It's Endo.
There you go, Endo. Games and languages we can't understand.
That's right.
Yeah,
All
that's
let's
about
move
it.
on.
Well, obviously the biggest things that are going to happen at TGS, number one, is that you're going to see another installment of Metal Gear, which is TGS tradition. And as we get closer and closer to the release, everyone at Konami definitely pushes that game. And I think you're going to see more of that than ever this time, especially given the performance that it had at its own event following E3 and at E3 itself. I think the anticipation for that game is through the roof.
And you have to assume that Sony's going to have pushed Konami to put out as much as possible, given that Halo 3 is coming out in, 11 days, no, less than that, a week?
A week from tomorrow.
Yeah, so.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I expect lots from MGS4 there.
Obviously, as Square Enix reminded everyone a few weeks ago, they're also going to make some Kingdom Hearts announcements. And we've heard it on good authority. Another one of the worst kept secrets in the business that there's going to be more than one Kingdom Hearts announcement made there.
Think we'll see something about Master Mix or whatever?
You mean
Final Mix?
There you go, yeah.
Master Mix.
Do better.
2000.
I'm sick of that question
Maybe.
coming in. Every day somebody asks that question.
Well, it's better than the other daily question of, why are you biased?
Why did you not put enough SmackDown wrestlers on the SmackDown Raw roster?
Yeah, we don't make the game, folks.
I know.
Greg does, but not
I do.
me.
Yeah, they take all my things right to heart.
The hottest rumor right now is that you're going to see the PS3 Shock controller at TGS. That's been going around for
It
about a
shocks
week
you?
and some change now. What do you guys think is the likelihood of actually seeing that controller there?
I give it about 1 in 4.
25% chance. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I'll go 50-50.
I'll go one up and say that it's even higher. I say it's a pretty good likelihood that you'll see it there.
Really?
At least maybe not in working form, but some form of this is the agreement we've come to, and this is what you can expect to see.
My reason for saying 1 in 4 and that I give it less than likely chance is because this happens at every single event. Happened at GDC, happened at E3, happened at the German Games Convention. People are like, oh, they're going to finally announce it. I mean, we basically know it's coming. I mean, Sony made it with Immersion. It's got to be coming. People are pissed that it never had Rumble, blah, blah, blah. Sometime we'll see it, and, it just keeps happening where we think we're going to see it, and then we don't. I'm under the impression that for some reason it's going to just be made some random announcement. They'll be like, oh, guess what? Here's the controller. And it's some random press release with some screenshots.
Roper's been burned too many times.
Exactly. I'm jaded. Maybe I hope we see it. I really want to see it.
I think we will. Maybe not in the form we want to, but I think we'll see it.
Yeah.
Also, one game I'm really looking forward to at TGS, which is too bad that I'm not there to actually play it, is White Knight's Story. That's an RPG I've been looking forward to for a really long time from Level 5. I think that game is going to impress a lot of people at the show based on what I've seen and what I've heard of it. And that's one title I think is really going to kind of help the PS3 into next year. 2008, a must-have game. What do you guys think about that game? You think that's got a good shot at wowing people at the show?
I'm not an RPG fan, but I mean, from this, just the videos that I've seen before, it looks awesome. So, I mean, I can't speak on the gameplay, but I can speak on how well the presentation looks and all that, and it looks really cool. So,
and even though Jeff's not here, I'll speak on his behalf. Jeff, what do you think? Yeah, literally pretty good.
Ryan, you're a big RPG fan. Are you excited for it?
Yes, I am. I think that from the gameplay that we saw, it was kind of that you actually got to have context-sensitive stuff. You were holding the guy, and then are you counting?
I am.
Oh, the like count.
Yeah, I'm counting his likes. What can I tell you?
I'm wondering if that context-sensitive system is going to be implemented throughout the entire game, or if that was just a particular scenario in which you were able to hold the guy and then the guy stabs him in the face.
I think it's for the whole game. I think
Face
that was the
stabbing.
point of the demo, to really show off what the gameplay
Well,
was
I
about.
hope so, because that looked awesome. I'm just wondering if they're going to be able to do that throughout, or if that's something that's very rare and most of the time it's just a boring thing.
If it was
going on.
rare, it'd show up every 4 years, like their other games.
pwned. Was that a pwned? I don't know.
It was a B-owned.
Okay.
I'm going to knock this off.
Remember, somebody yelled at Jeff.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll
Okay.
get to that in a
See, I was
second.
fine with the likes. There was
Yeah,
no
you did real
likes
good
after
there, by the
that.
way.
For TGS, who do you think is going to take the show? Is it going to be a first-party show for Sony?
Jeff Haynes.
Is it going to be a first-party show for Sony, or is it going to be a third party that stands up above everything else and says, check out our products, and this is why you want to buy our stuff?
Well, sometimes that line gets blurred, though, when they'll have third-party stuff at Sony's booth or, whatever else. And so, I don't know. I think Sony will have a pretty good show. But I don't really see anybody else coming out of the gates with 2 or 3 huge games.
Well, it's their show to lose.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't really go there. In fact, they never go there. It's just the third-party stuff that's on display. And Microsoft is totally at the bottom of the barrel in terms of Japanese interest.
There is going to be Ninja Gaiden 2 there, though.
Yes, that's true. But is that one game going to be enough for them to overtake Sony?
2. I love that series.
Those videos that we've
Hopefully
seen so
we'll
far
get Ninja
look
Gaiden
great.
2 Sigma in about 7 years on the PS4, I guess.
What do you think of the chances? What do you think of the chances based on what you know and what you guys have spoken to with members of Tecmo of Ninja Gaiden 2 eventually coming to PlayStation 3, or do you think it really is a 360 exclusive given that Microsoft is publishing it?
Well, I haven't actually talked to anybody since the announcement has come out, so I don't know if it's, and even if I ask somebody, it's going to be the general spiel about, we're only announcing for 360 this time. But I was surprised that it was announced as a 360 only exclusive, at least for now, because I was always figuring that Sigma was going to be sort of the get an engine up and running on the PS3. That way, when we're time to announce Ninja Gaiden 2, we have an engine running on that. You already have like your Xbox engine that you or the Dead or Alive 4 engine that's on 360, and then you say, now here's Sigma on the PS3, now we're ready to go, simultaneous release or whatever, and apparently that's not happening. So that surprised me. I don't know. I'm very much assuming that we're going to see it at some point. It's going to sell way too well in order to do it, or in order to not do that, but I don't know. We'll see.
What's exciting about TGS in general, Greg, is with the lower profile of E3 now, it's really a good opportunity for a lot of games to stand out that we might not have had a chance to see earlier in the year. What is it about TGS you think we're going to walk away with this year that really sticks out? E3, obviously, everyone walked away saying, wow, look at Fallout 3. That game's going to be fantastic. Look at Killzone 2. What's TGS going to do?
I hope we see something that'll. I hope for a big surprise. I know I say that every time, but you've covered. I mean, we have seen a lot of big announcements leading up to this Ninja Gaiden, Metal Gear, everything at E3, Killzone. There's going to be some game that those big titles are going to come out, and they're not going to have that same impact they had at the shows we've seen this year. So hopefully something smaller. Maybe we'd see some more Echochrome, something like that. Something that we're already interested in, just to ramp it up another level.
What's everybody's prediction on more Final Fantasy stuff?
I think you'll for sure see a video, most likely behind closed doors. That game, Square Enix loves to keep stuff that they're really proud of close to the vest. I think that's going to be a game they're going to keep close to the vest. And I think you're going to see a general trailer, and you might learn a little bit more behind closed doors.
More about lightning.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a cool name for a lead character, I think.
I like it. It's just that doesn't count, by the way, the like I just said.
We'll get to your likes a little bit later. Do you think that it's possible for Microsoft to win the show?
I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But is it possible? Do you think that with Ninja Gaiden and a few other key announcements that they'll be able to outshine Sony at the show?
It's possible, but I give it about a 2% chance.
Yeah, if they were like, let's give them exclusive Final Fantasy 14 through 17.
So since everybody agrees that this is a Sony show and it's theirs to lose, what do they need? What do they need to wow everyone to reassure Sony users? Because let's face it, PlayStation 3 is still in third place. It still has quite amount of ground to cover to catch up to the 360 and the Wii. What do they need to do to reassure its base?
Some good exclusives, solidify some stuff up. You figured Lair and Heavenly Sword did not have the impact people were expecting them to. So now, that on at least some aspects shines on to Uncharted. It shines on to, not Ratchet so much since that's an established franchise, but definitely Uncharted. And we've all talked about it before where we thought maybe the guns weren't heavy enough or the aiming system was this. And we've seen the same demo recycled so many times. I think if they can get out there and show new content on stuff like that, give us another first-party game to get behind and say, they may have stumbled in the past, but this one's going to be good.
I completely agree. I think it's exactly what they need to do. They need to pull out and show Final Fantasy in some fashion, show Metal Gear, and show all these games are going to be AAA games and they're not going to disappoint. And that's really what they need to do.
What happens if they show us new stuff, but the same games, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted? Is that enough?
No. They need to show the huge exclusives. They need to show, if they come out with something that, if they come out with Resident Evil 5 and it's not in the Microsoft booth at this point, and it's only on Sony, and they come out with Final Fantasy 13, all 7 of those games, and they come out with some new MGS4 stuff, then the show's theirs. That's what they need. And Gran Turismo is going to be there. That's always like a nice support.
And Japan
But,
loves Gran Turismo.
Yeah, but that game at this point is not the I mean they're going to show prologue in that 5, so that's just like a solid type thing that's not going to blow people away. So really they need something. They need like a Final Fantasy or Devil May Cry or something. So.
Devil May Cry would be great. I know it's going to be there. The question is, are they finally going to show us something different? Since we've been seeing the same demo now for month after month after month. I hope so.
I would assume so. I mean, it was playable for the first time last TGS, so you'd have to hope that they would.
That would suck if it's the same exact demo.
Here
it is again.
That'd be totally awesome if it was the same demo. Jeff's
Signed
covering
and
it for the
sealed.
12th time.
Well, for TGS coverage, we already have our TGS index up. You can access that from any channel on the site. We update it constantly, so keep your eyes peeled for upcoming news, and we'll see how the show turns out. And then next week, we'll talk about it in our Aftermath show. And that gets us to Reader Mail.
Read milk all day.
By the way, Greg, I just want to say congratulations on a very good Game Scoop, episode 50.
Hey, congratulations to you too there, Jeremy.
Thanks. I enjoyed the champagne that you
Me
brought.
too, huh? Pink champagne rocks.
We need to start getting champagne into
Bubbly.
our podcast Beyonds as well.
Yeah.
What we didn't talk about is we went to Red Lobster afterwards.
Yes, Damon put up a couple pictures.
And it was good.
It was good.
It was so filling. I was like sick full.
You know, Craig Harris had never eaten there before.
Craig Harris.
Well, I
What's wrong
just
with that
wanted
guy?
I don't know. But he went and he seemed to like it, so we'll see. This gets us to our reader questions, as we alluded to earlier. And Cake Fu wants to know what game everyone is looking forward to seeing and playing the most this year. And even though he doesn't list a system, I'm assuming since this is Podcast Beyond, he's referring to a PlayStation game.
Talking about the Wii, obviously.
Let's do both. Let's try both ends.
All right.
I'm going to go last.
Okay, Greg?
Wait, so we're doing our PlayStation game and then another game?
Uh-huh. What game
Or
are
they
you
could be
looking
the same.
Yeah. If it's a cross-platform title, then it's a cross-platform title.
Yeah.
But what title are you looking forward to playing the most this year?
Okay, on the PS3, Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
On the PSP, Renegade Squadron. Because I really, really dig it so far. I'm playing basically my review build, and I'm looking forward to being able to play other people eventually through infrastructure.
That's a very thorough multiplayer game.
Oh man, it's so. It's awesome. Like it's going to be really, really cool. I think when people get their hands on it.
Yeah, it'll sell through the roof.
And then cross-platform SmackDown.
Ryan?
I think I'm most interested in Kingdom Hearts still. Am I allowed to say a franchise that has already been established? Cause
But it's
that's,
not out this year. There's no
Pwned.
Kingdom Hearts game coming
I
out
thought
this
you
year.
were talking about the game we're most looking forward to for the show.
This
Isn't
year.
it?
No, for the year.
For this
Release
year.
for this year.
Oh, this year.
But you can go back and play Kingdom Hearts 2 if you want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I guess Uncharted.
That's a confident answer, yeah.
No,
suppose
I always
Uncharted's
forget.
the way to
I
go.
always forget when Little Big Planet's coming out because I'm
Next
bad
year.
with release dates, so I can't say that. So.
Aren't you playing Folklore
Sadly,
too?
they dance in my head
Oh,
like little devils.
Yeah, it's because I'm little devil.
They do.
It's because I always forget because I talk about folklore so much. But I would absolutely go with that. I'm going to be writing the review in the very near future, and I'm very excited.
What's an early outlook for that one?
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, don't. That was terrible.
What was terrible?
Yeah.
It's just like
You
Greg's
can-
song.
you can do that on Halloween.
Yeah,
show.
you're allowed to do it on Halloween. That's it.
Okay. I think it was pretty akin to Greg singing. Folklore, I would say that
you
so
trying to
far
be
it. No, I'm just kidding.
No score. Just is it good or not?
I know it's gonna be. No, it's extremely good. I don't.
Extremely good.
I mean, you have to grant the fact that I've only played through a certain amount of the game.
Right.
So
But you're impressed so far.
very much.
Right now,
Good.
you'd say
That's good
buy
news.
it.
Would
Try
you,
it.
for RPG fans, based on what you've seen so far, you'd recommend that this is something they need to get?
Ooh, because it's not as RPG-ish as some people have led on in the past. It's slightly more adventure, even a little bit of action-oriented than it is
But it
like
does have
strict
some
RPG.
It does have some Shin
it's-
Megami Tensei stuff in
yeah,
there.
and it's
right?
very. I mean, it has heavy RPG influences. I'm just saying that it's not like there's like a take turn system or something like that, or you're like issue command, attack little fluffy creature, go, or something like that.
Chris?
My most anticipated PlayStation game is Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. And overall, probably Mass Effect. I think that's got to be it.
And which is saying a lot for someone who's not an RPG fan.
Right. I dig some of the Western RPGs like BioShock.
You look
Bioshrock's
Or
not an RPG.
Sorry, not BioShock. I was thinking BioWare's RPGs, and then BioShock came out. No, like Knights of the Republic.
Yes.
And like that's still my favorite Xbox game.
On the PlayStation front, I'm still looking forward to Ratchet and Clank Future. It's my favorite series on the PS2, so I can't wait to see it on PS3 when it's finished. And cross-platform, I've been back and forth all year, slightly changing the order, but recently for me it's Super Mario Galaxy overall. That game looks very fun, and I love Super Mario 64, so I can't wait to see where that one goes.
Dude, Galaxy does absolutely nothing for me.
Really?
I think I'm going to hate that game. I don't know what it is. I mean, I have it pre-ordered. I'm going to get it. It's already paid for. I use that nice little percentage bonus.
You just like to punish yourself. I'm going to hate this game. I'll take one, please.
Well, it's like you have to play it because it's a Mario game.
Yeah.
And if you own a Wii and you play games, you have to own a Mario. There's no excuse not to buy it. But I think it's going to suck. I'm going to get hate mail for that. But
Stifler wants to know Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS3 announced at TGS.
Probably not. Although
I would not be surprised if they announce a PSP remake.
I think that's a better possibility. I'm so sick and tired of the Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff. I've been hearing it now for 2 or 3 years, and it's driving me crazy. At this point, it's a rumor that will never die. So the best answer to this is saying, wait and find out. Because nobody will ever know, no matter how many times Square says they're not going to do it.
You know what I would like to see them do is, since now they've got an even dozen out, well then plus X2 and all that. But anyway, so say you don't count like that part. Then they just take all 12 games and make them into... I guess you need X2 because there's 11. You can't really count that. But anyway, take 12 games, make them into one giant game that never ends. So you basically go from character to character with no ending screen or whatever. So that the game is like 7,000 hours long. And then I want to see you try to review it.
That won't be me.
It'll be me.
Gareth37 wants to know what our take is on all the Halo 3 marketing and why won't Sony do this with certain PS3 games?
That's a very good question. Yeah. Sony's not doing a very good job marketing the PS3 or any of its titles. I don't think anyway.
Although I have seen a lot of Heavenly Sword commercials, which are actually pretty rad.
I think that game is going to sell to the mainstream. I think that Heavenly Sword is a game that will sell to the PS3
Absolutely.
base.
I think that's
very well.
I think that's why you're not
game.
seeing as much stuff because they don't have that mainstream presence yet. Right now, they're still trying to convince the people who read IGN every day or the people who read any other video game publication, the hardcore fans, that this is a system you need and we are supporting it and we are going to be around. So, I mean, you still have to cover that, first ground floor before you can then pump in all this money to say,
then why aren't they pumping money behind that philosophy as well? Because it seems to because I can tell you someone from who no longer covers the system. From the outside, I see almost no marketing whatsoever for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, and I mean, remember, it takes marketing to get out to the mainstream people. And I mean, remember what happened when the PS2 launched? They had like the PlayStation 9 ads, which was awesome.
Yeah.
They had ads out the ass coming for PS2, and that thing sold out the gate, never slowed down. It's still selling like crazy today, and I think a large portion of that is because of the advertising campaign and just the hype that the system got and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, it was a technically inferior system to the Xbox, but it continued to outsell it through the entire time. And... they're just not doing that with the PS3. They need to put money behind the advertising campaign. They're not doing it. And it may be too late at this point to actually build up a good hype for the system because it's already out.
Till next year.
Well, even then, I mean...
you couldn't make a Christmas impact, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like...
Well, Uncharted is still coming. Ratchet and Clank is still coming. Folklore is still coming.
Well, you have those, but before a system launches and before anybody gets their hands on it, you can start this giant-ass snowball of hype, right?
Ass.
And you get it going, and since people haven't seen it before, that hype is built, and then you can, hope to maintain that hype throughout the system's, lifespan. But once the system's out and everybody's played it, and then you already have, some negativity behind it saying, this part sucks and there's no rumble and whatever else, even if some of those things are getting fixed, then, you can't really build that hype again and bring it on. You can do it on a game-by-game basis, but not by the system, I don't think. I think that part's past. I don't think they can do that anymore, unfortunately for them.
Do you guys remember the type of commercials that would be advertising the system itself, but it advertises it in such a way as it shows a bunch of games that are going to be coming out for the system, and that's kind of how they're pushing the system?
Right.
Like they would do like old PS2 commercials where like it would kind of have like flashes of like the different games coming out. If they like poured money into like that type of campaign that was sometime next year, beginning of next year, and they poured money into that and they like highlighted a bunch of those different games that are coming out and are going to be huge hits, I think that would really like push the system. Like people next year would be like, "Oh man, look at that! Look at that!"
I think the roadblock they're running into there is they can't do it now, obviously, because 80% of the software is also available elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to be able to push that on when people are going to see commercials for those same games somewhere else. And then if you show all of next year's games as part of that marketing campaign, everyone's going to want to buy them now, and they're going to be disappointed to learn they can't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Starting next year.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the year.
Well, you know the thing too is on a lot of commercials for a lot of cross-platform games, you see it ends with an Xbox 360 logo.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, okay, that game's available on PS3, but casual Joe gamer that doesn't know what he's doing, won't know that. He'll be like, oh, I got to get a 360 because that's where Madden is. You're like, well, it's on every other platform.
It runs twice as fast.
Yeah, I mean, well,
whatever that means.
In that case, if you're paying attention, then yeah, But anyway.
All right, Joe Gamer, you win this round.
Dorkmaster Fleck
Not Flex.
says, "Hey
Fleck.
guys, I love the PS podcast, and I think it has the best name and probably the funniest cast. I like this guy. I've started saying Beyond in my daily gaming life, thanks to you guys. Anyhow, this has probably been suggested, but I still think it's a great idea. Why don't you have a segment on the podcast where you make fun of a dumb reader and call it Beyond? I'm sure people would pander for the chance just to be mentioned on the podcast, even if they're being made fun of."
That's a stupid idea. Beyond.
Ouch.
In the last podcast Beyond episode, you talked about how Little Big Planet will be the best for online play. I bought Half-Life 2 Gary's mod for the same reasons, but I no longer play it because of all the ragers it's joined server just to screw up that awesome game. That comes from David in Canada. You think that's going to affect Little Big Planet?
No.
No, I don't think it is.
Different. It's a different focus. It's not a competitive game.
Because in and it's different. There's some online games that can get screwed up because you have to play them online. Like if you're playing SOCOM, multiplayer, you have to play that online. But Little Big Planet, you don't necessarily need to play online. It only has 4 people at a time, so you can play with your friend on your couch. You don't even need to play online to make the game to be fun. You can go on and download content and then play by yourself, and nobody's screwing that up. So I think it'll be fine.
It'd be great if the way they were ruining it were just building levels that were flat.
Yeah.
And then somehow they get it ranked number 1, everybody's clicking on it, it's just you running along the wall.
And the other main difference between those two is if you're playing something like SOCOM or whatever else it is, those games have rule sets that you're not supposed to be messing with, and everybody's supposed to be playing within those rule sets, and so everybody's fair. But with Little Big Planet, it's supposed to be that you create whatever you want, and you're supposed to try to bend the tools and make whatever you're doing. So if people aren't trying to go outside the realms of what you're supposed to be doing, then it's not going to be as cool as it should be. When people break the game basically and figure out how to make stuff that nobody ever thought of before, that's when it's going to be coolest.
But at least that's the beauty of the internet-based system. If anyone does figure out a way to hurt the game, they can always patch it and make sure that they can't hurt it in the future. So, go them.
Hopefully it doesn't cry.
Yes. This comes from John H. Upon listening to the podcast today, I really started to notice the habit that another listener touched on a few Beyonds ago. Told you we were going to get to this.
Yep.
Ryan's schizophrenia. I pondered ways to get this man to kick this annoying habit, ranging from things like hitting him whenever he says "like" to making him taking shots of liquor for each saying, which I'm fairly sure would lead to his death. Only one solution stood out as a complete deterrent: have him do the podcast laying on the floor and teabag him whenever he says the word.
Ew.
What more do you need to say to strike fear into your subconscious and to know that if you say a certain word, another man's balls will keep you from saying anything else? But, Now, I do realize this could lead to chafing or scrotal tearing in the amount that he says "like," but luckily there are 4 of you, so you can rotate on the dippage.
This is probably the grossest letter we've ever had.
It is without a doubt the grossest letter. Also, Greg should consider singing a song about teabagging Ryan.
To the theme of Friends.
Yes.
Was that was in the email because that was part. Okay, I just want to make sure.
To the theme of Friends, yeah.
I would just like to say for all you listeners that I was actually the one that included that email in this. I was more than open to being lashed and being talked about scrotal tearing in the
What do you do to fix your legs?
What should I do?
Uh-huh.
The shots sound like a good idea.
Can you handle your liquor? I've never been drinking with you. I don't know what kind of
it depends on the
liquor
day.
you can take.
It depends on the day.
What is your favorite alcoholic drink?
Probably shots of vodka, I guess.
Nice. That's mine too.
I guess, though.
Beer man, yeah?
I'm a beer man.
Yeah, it depends, though, because if you just want to get trashed, then you take shots because it's easy and it's fast. But if you just want to drink a little bit over a long period of time, then you drink a beer.
I'm very much a beer man because if I'm at a bar, I need to constantly just sip on something. I use my hands constantly. I can't stop fidgeting, and so I keep sipping stuff. But if I'm drinking liquor of some sort, it's whiskey.
Greg?
Budweiser in a can.
I go Budweiser in a 40-ounce.
Oh, really?
That's how I
Man,
rock
I love
it.
the can.
I'm a vodka
I'm not
fan.
a big drinker anyway.
I'm a huge drinker.
Me too.
I can't wake up in the morning without 2 or 3 Budweiser.
we used to have competitions at the Christmas party, see how many shots everyone could take. We have these little dots and everything.
Yeah.
Eventually it got
Now it's
unhealthy.
over with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. As for my limit, I don't actually know because it changes depending on like the instance that I drink. Because sometimes like I'll drink a beer and I'll be like, oh man,
One day-
that hit me hard, and then another another day I had 17 shots of vodka in a couple hours, and I was fine.
One day I should
So,
tell a story about
water.
how Fran and I got absolutely I should tell the story about how one day Fran and I got absolutely trashed at WrestleMania on the streets of New York.
Fran's dancing.
It's a good story, but for another time. Ninja Gaiden 2 has been announced exclusively for the Xbox 360 after playing Sigma on the PS3. I'm hooked. I think he means to say hooked. Any possibility that it may be only a timed exclusive? This is from Alex. Of course, we touched on this earlier. Who knows? It'd be great for PS3 fans if it is only timed. This comes from Jason, who found Jeff's comment ridiculing the nervous apologetic dude really sad.
Nervous apologetic dude.
This is a public service announcement. You've been be-owned. How lame, immature, and just is that? How old are you anyway, Jeff? I actually cringed. Do you think you're cool? Be-owned. Damn, that's so lame. If you're going to put shit on someone, at least make it a bit.
And then the email cuts off.
And then that's it. That's all it says. Jeff's not here to defend himself, so... I guess Jeff got be-owned.
I do say
He literally got
when,
be-owned.
I do say like when I'm nervous though, and since I'm the new guy, I'm a little shaky on the podcast still.
What does that have to do? What? Yeah. Okay.
That's what
He's hung
the
up on the
question was.
likes.
All right,
He's like, by the way, I just want to say,
Because the guy
even
he
in
just
the
said
office,
the
though, you're
nervous
still nervous.
apologetic guy.
You're still nervous in the office, though.
Really?
It's great whenever Ryan walks up to my desk because it always starts the same way. Hello, Jeremy. I'm really sorry about this. You're not busy, are you? I just really apologize if this is an inconvenience. But
Certainly
I was wondering.
not that long.
I was wondering. Do you know what time it is? And then I'll tell him, like, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Is there anything I can do for you? Do you need me to? I'll be over there. I think Roper needs me. I'll be right back. Chris, I'm very sorry. What is it that you needed? I'm sorry. I was just talking to Jeremy. It won't happen again.
It's never happened before.
It has happened.
No, I've never asked what time it is in such a lengthy fashion.
You're right. But everything else. This one comes from SharkFan87. Says, hello, IGN crew. First, I'd like to congratulate you on your podcast. I just want you to... just want to know how you view yourselves. Do you seriously think of yourselves as professional game reviewers, as you have mentioned on the last few shows? Or do you consider yourself a bunch of 5-year-olds hopped up on tater tots and Kool-Aid?
Give me your tots.
Honestly, you don't carry yourselves like professionals, and your podcast is more content involving you defending your reviewing skills and reviewers' decisions more than it does actual useful content about the PS3. I again say congratulations, but I don't know how you managed to pull off making me want to gouge my ears out anymore. Have a good week. P.S. I don't expect you to use this on the show, but please reply via email if you wouldn't mind taking time out of your busy schedule. Well, you guys have a reply to that?
Fuck you.
Good reply.
Beyond!
Everyone has a different idea of what professional means, and I think that if we answer your questions as honest as we can, that's professional.
Not to mention, the reason we talk about the reviews is because
That's what people
majority
wanna know
of the questions were about the reviews.
It's also to show you that we are not afraid to ask any question on here. We'll talk about anything, anybody, anytime. That's the whole point of the podcast, is so we can answer your questions.
I am reminded of the scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where they drop off the Ferrari to the parking garage attendant, and he goes, and Ferris says something about, please take care of the car, and the shady dude goes, don't worry, I'm a professional. And he goes, professional what? I think that sums up everything.
It's true. Do you consider yourself a professional? You'd better.
I
Think very carefully on this answer.
I can be professional. That's my answer.
Very nice.
Yes.
We do receive paychecks for what we do, so therefore, by definition, we are professionals. Think of it that way.
Yes.
It's Pick of the Week time.
Oh, God.
Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week. What came out last week that you think really stands out, that PlayStation owners should go get? Or this week. We'll go ahead and extend it to this week as well.
What's this week? What comes out this week?
Well, this week is
Heavenly
Stuntman.
Sword came out last week.
Yeah, Heavenly Sword was out last week, yeah.
Pick of the Week.
Juiced.
Yeah. I think people should play Heavenly Sword. I mean, I didn't give it the greatest score in the world, but it's still, a fun game.
Is it worth buying or should they rent it?
I think they should rent it. It's not very long, and and like I said in the review, there's not really a reason to go back and keep playing it because most of the unlockable content's online. So you won't spend 100 hours just trying to get that last little emblem deal. But it's definitely worthy of playing. So yeah, go ahead and get it.
We're going to bring back a segment that people have asked us to bring back several times called Around the Room. And Around the Room, it's just us going in a circle, talking about what we're playing, reading, watching lately. Greg, we'll start with you.
It's fun.
What are you up to lately, other than the obvious busy schedule that you have for work?
Coded Arms for PSP, Renegade Squadron for PSP, the NHL 2K8 for PS2 and PS3 because they came in late, and then endless amounts of SmackDown.
What do you do for fun? That's all work stuff.
I know. I like SmackDown. I like playing SmackDown a lot. But then I got to stop and video.
There are a lot of SmackDown players out there. What would you tell them for those that are concerned that it's just the same game as last year?
Well, I think the thing is that SmackDown's gotten to this point where it's a lot like Madden, where they have an engine they like, and they have a style of stuff they like. So I know a lot of people watched the Hell in the Cell match on Friday, and some of them were posting that, it looks just like the same thing, blah, 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 blah. And there are a lot of elements that are from previous years, and it all feels familiar, but there's a lot of stuff that's different. And I think the ECW match, when they first said it, I just assumed it'd be a hardcore match, and it's really a beast of its own, and it's really, really cool. And we're going to write about that today and show a bunch of videos.
And today they can see the video of the double stacked flaming tables.
Flaming tables, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I've seen that. I can tell you that as someone who covered SmackDown for years, longer than Ryan's been alive, that I am ready for a new engine on that game.
Yeah.
I think that it's time for them to just, instead of just replacing things with new animations and other new little features, they should just start from scratch, try something, and really use the hardware. But that's just my opinion. Chris, what are you working on?
Let's see.
Playing and watching and singing.
Working on doing random stuff. I'll be reviewing the PlayStation poker game, High Stakes Poker, today. Game's decent.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, heard it here first.
Even though you're already playing it.
Yeah, but I recently, as of a week or two ago, I guess it came out on the 5th, I think it was, and then immediately watched the entire season 3 of The Office, because basically I had missed the intro, the first episode last year, and waited an entire year to watch the season. And then so as soon as it was available on DVD, I watched it in like 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
And now I'm watching through season 2, preparing for season 4 again, even though I've already seen 2. And aside from that, man, I've been like probably 3 or 4 hours from completing BioShock for like 2 weeks now, and I haven't been able to play it because I've been just doing too much other home-oriented stuff.
You got to finish it so we can start talking about it.
I know, I really need to. I want to do it this weekend, and then I was in class for 12 hours, and
Chris,
terrible.
for those of you wondering what he's referring to, is about to be a daddy next about a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
This is the schedule?
Yep.
So he has all the parenthood classes.
Yeah, so this weekend was the childbirth class, which was 12 hours long. Broken up over 3 days, but still.
Nice.
That was not fun.
Right?
And then,
12 hours is a long time.
What are you watching, reading, playing?
Well, at work, I'm still doing Warriors Orochi. That's just work-related, and that's for PS2 and for 360. And as for playing at home, I actually just started playing StarCraft again for some reason. I don't know why.
Amping up for StarCraft 2 next year,
I guess that's probably the reason. Yep.
I've been playing through Stranglehold. Actually, I shouldn't say playing through. I finished it. It's an alright game. It's fun. Short.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fun though, right?
Play it on hard-boiled. It's best on hard-boiled.
I'm watching
Typically
a lot
said
of anime, too. I didn't get to finish.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, we decided.
How come you speak like Ed Begley Jr. in Amazon Women on the Moon when he does the Son
I
of the
have
Invisible
absolutely
Man?
no idea who that is.
Anyone
so.
else seen the Amazon Women on the Moon?
no.
There's a
I at least
scene-
know who Ed Begley is,
Yeah, I
though.
know who he is.
There's a scene in the movie where they have Son of the Invisible Man, and every time he speaks, he's like, "You have to find me first." Basically, what Ryan's saying.
Exactly.
So sadly, even though we're just about at the 40-minute mark, we have to cut it short today. We have a very busy day. Half the team is gone. Greg needs to get
They're
on the
literally in
SmackDown
Tokyo.
coverage. Yeah, we have most of the team gone to Tokyo, so our installment is a little shorter than usual. But that doesn't mean that Greg's not going to take us out with a song.
And you should all feel very privileged. As you may have noticed on the message boards, we didn't get a thing up because we've all been so swamped. So I had to take a suggestion from Jeremy, but then someone suggested I sing about teabagging Ryan, and I wrote the song while the podcast went on. So this is to whoever wanted the Friends theme and Ryan. So this is about Ryan. Your job's a joke, you suck. Your grammar's DOA. You have a scruffy beard and apologize all damn day. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. I'll teabag your face, cause you need to stop saying like, I'll teabag your face, cause you teabag me too.
We'll see you next week, everybody, with a longer episode and
Less teabagging.
a better song, I hope. See you then.